Hello guys, what's up? A few weeks ago I reviewed Satisfactory based on the limited alpha test. The game has since entered early access on Epic Game Store, and I was lucky enough to receive a game key from the developers of Satisfactory, the Coffee Stain Studios. As such, all my streams and reviews of this game have to be considered as sponsored from this point on. The game was run on the usual computer with specs on the screen and in the description. Gameplay was recorded from 1080p exclusive full screen on the same computer as the game was played. And the game was run from a mechanical hard drive and not from an SSD. I played this version of the game for a total of 20 hours, and I did not test the multiplayer. As always, my reviews are how I find the game, and your enjoyment and experience may vary, and spoiler warning is in effect. Satisfactory is the latest game from the Swedish developer Coffee Stain Studios, known for its Goat Simulator and Sanctum games. First thing players see when you start Satisfactory is the main menu, with the options on starting the game, invites and credits. Opening the options screen, players can find settings for gameplay, audio, video and controls. Under the gameplay options, the player can choose to send gameplay data, change language, select arachnophobia mode, a setting surely appreciated by those who suffer from the phobia, head bobbing and network quality. At the time of the review, the gameplay settings do not have tooltips except for the send gameplay data. This most likely will change later. The language support is staggering 14 different languages, or 15 if you count Chinese languages as 2. At this time, not all text was translated, as the game developer has stated that the translations are very much work in progress. The game does not require a restart between language changes. On audio side, you have sliders for volumes for master, ambient, factory, music, effects, dialogue, and a choice to reset reverb. On graphics side, you have options for resolution with support for 4:3, 16:9 and 16:10 resolution. The game has a toggle between borderless and exclusive full screen. To set the game to windowed mode, select the borderless mode and set the resolution smaller than your current desktop resolution. V-Sync and Motion Blur both have their own toggles, and Field of View slider goes from 60 to 120 with default 90. Textures, shadows, post-processing, anti-aliasing, VFX, foliage and view distance have settings of low, medium, high and ultra. No explanations are given at this time how they affect the gameplay. On control side, you have options to rebind all key bindings, toggle sprint mode between hold and toggle, and select invert look and mouse sensitivity. The game options do not show options or key bindings for a controller, but controllers do work in game. For those using Nvidia's GeForce Experience to change settings, the game isn't currently supported. Now, onwards to the game itself. Satisfactory is a first-person open-world factory building simulator with a multiplayer for up to 4 players. You start the game in a dropship and you're dropped to your choice of one of the 3 different starting areas: the green plains, the forest and the snow area. The areas differ with their resource composition. For example, the snow area is rich in resources but lacks biomass to power your factory. After exiting your dropship, you are greeted by the vast new world in your starting point, but you are always free to travel to the other starting areas if you are not happy with your choice. The gameplay starts by harvesting your dropship for parts and scanning nearby areas for iron ore you need to harvest to build your cube, your home base. After building your home base, it's time to start building your factory. The game starts you on a guided path to build different parts of your factory, which culminates in building a space elevator to send resources to space. This path takes you from creating mining nodes for basic ore resources to automatizing parts creation. After completing the introductory path, the player is free to choose what to build next. Unlocking new resources happens through completing milestones, which are gathering enough of resources or parts. Some milestones are unlocked by analyzing items found in the wild or through hunting wildlife roaming the game world. In the early access there are 6 different tiers of milestones. Players unlock the milestones 3 to 4 and 5 to 6 through 2 different space elevator gathering quests. Unlocking these tiers and their milestones will also unlock new travel options such as vehicles and poison masks. Further tiers will be added later in the development. In the beginning, as you're managing your power grid, you have a good chance of exploring the game world while finding leaves to create biomass to power your factory. Later you can automatize your whole power grid so you're free to just explore the world and optimize your factory. Speaking of, optimizing your factory is what the game is all about. Building foundations and floors for your factory, routing your conveyor belts and getting your assemblies to spit out products at 100% efficiency rate even after overclocking the capabilities to 250% is what the game is all about. Building is done on first-person perspective. With larger buildings this can be quite hard, but luckily later in the game a lookout tower can be unlocked which will help greatly in placing buildings. Tearing down your old buildings is quick and you get refunded all the resources. Rebuilding is what you will do a lot after all, to get your factory optimized. The game at the moment has 2 types of vehicles, a tractor and a truck. These vehicles can be automated to pick up resources from your outposts and carry a workbench you can use to craft resources when roaming around the world. Driving is done in third person and the driving routes can be recorded to automate the vehicles. A lot of the information gets lost in the gameplay. The game constantly sends you updated information and tutorials, but more than likely you may forget to check it from the message center. Useful information that may be lost to one is that you can upgrade your conveyor belts straight without tearing them down first, or that to place a miner building you need to manually mine a rock on top of the resource node. The game is always online and features a multiplayer up to 4 players. When starting a new game, the player can set the game privacy to friends or private. In the main menu you can join a friend's game by clicking the join button. At this time you can only join your friends' games. The game is presented with very beautiful graphics. The animations are well made and some performance is saved by having the animations and objects in long distance be lower quality. This may result sometimes in a jarring experience when you see distant objects being very pixelated or the animation being very chunky, for the lack of better word. The sunrises and sunsets are absolutely spectacular to see, and seeing the sky manta ray fly through the sky can be very relaxing. The game features a surround audio with good sci-fi-esque tunes to create the mood. The music volume changes quite a lot though, and the menu music can be very loud. The performance is very stable with some frame time spikes, and in some spots the frame rate could dip down. All in all, if you like factory building games like Factorio, Satisfactory is well worth your time. But if games that focus solely on optimization and building are not your thing, this game offers little else. There is no story for now, though the game features objects that could relate to some kind of background story, but those items are work in progress and you can only gather them or look at them. Items like these include ruins of factories. Satisfactory is in early access and is nowhere near a finished product. The game requires quite a lot of work, but with friends or alone the game is already fun. With more development time, this game will become a great experience. Would I recommend this game? At this point it's pretty difficult choice between recommending and not recommending it. If you have a good group of friends and enjoy building, Satisfactory is a great choice. Satisfactory launched on early access on March 19, 2019, exclusively on Epic Game Store for $29.99 USD or euros depending on your region, and up depending on preferred payment options. The choice of storefront may be a deal breaker for some. Building a factory, optimizing the maze of conveyor belts, the feeling of successfully automatizing something, the manufactured products moving slowly on the conveyor belts. The doggos run away from petting. Energy gathering in the beginning is very tedious and seems to be there just to mask the waiting times for your starting factory to manufacture the components necessary to reach next milestone. Some useful exploration options are for some reason very late unlocks, such as the gas mask or lookout tower. If you reached all the way here, I thank you for your time and hope to see you next time. Please leave me a comment to tell me how I can improve for the next video. As always, thank you.